Mr. Burns, I'm going to New Mexico.
Whoa, slow down. There's a New Mexico?
Yes.
I'm doing a musical about Malibu Stacy.
Stacy.
Well, that's as ridiculous as something about the common cat or the king of Siam.
Yeah, it's so good. And then he does it, and he's on the stage, and the guy goes, "This is better than a movie. Why?"
Yeah.
Sold separately. It's just like,
Sold separately.
I'm actually kind of glad we just like stopped even introducing ourselves.
Well, I kind of like the old format that we used to do, where we just kind of would like roll into it, and that was how
We've been doing.
Like, what's the deal with bacon bits? I love bacon bits, but don't you want a full piece of bacon? Don't you want to know that you're having a big piece, rather little? You can't.
Now, when a woman is in your apartment and you're waiting for the Spanish fly to kick in, and she has a Cobb salad.
Just reminds me of that Christopher Walken skit he used to do on SNL.
The Continental.
The Continental.
You spilled your champagne.
Oh, I tried to slip you a Mickey. Like you're sitting there like, Jesus Christ, you can't do that anymore.
Dude, it's wild. I saw an interview with David Lynch from 2007, I think.
Yeah.
Where he's talking about like what's the name of she's the mom on Riverdale. Mädchen Amick. She has weird German name.
Yeah.
Super babe, right? She was
Sure.
Shelley Johnson on Twin Peaks.
Okay.
And David Lynch was basically like, ha, I had to stop myself from raping you, basically.
Ugh.
Like, not in so many words, but whatever he said, something about,
I
like,
had to stop myself from trying to take advantage of this
putting
woman.
something in her drink or something like that, and everyone just laughs. I'm like, oh, boy.
Well, yeah, times have changed now. You can't make those jokes anymore, obviously. Well, it's like you look back at, like, who was it? Alfred Hitchcock. The fucked up stuff he used to do on set.
Oh, yeah, let me put your foot in my mouth.
Well, not even that. He'd be like, I didn't like this actor, so I chained him up on set and left him overnight. But first, what I did was I gave him a drink that was laced with laxative, so he sat there shitting his pants all night and could not leave. And you're like, fuck, that's really fucked up.
I respect that, and the only regret I have about that is that he was an American and couldn't become the president. He could have turned Guantanamo Bay into Disney World for sickos.
I mean, I couldn't even believe when I heard about that. I was like, holy shit. Can you imagine being an actor? You're like, I finally get to work with Hitchcock. And he like, why don't you have some tea? And he just like, oh, thank you, Mr. Hitchcock. And you drink it. And then he chains you up to a set piece overnight. And you spend the night violently shitting yourself so that the crew can come in the next day. And you're just sitting there with your poop jeans and a little circle of turd around you. And everyone's like, everyone have a laugh at the new actor. Just... fuck.
Tippi Hedren just shows up and is like, I love the little drawings you did.
Well, he also used to like psychologically torture the women, I guess, too. Like he
did and Kubrick did. Kubrick drove fucking Shelley Duvall insane on the set of The Shining.
That Alfred Hitchcock was a sadist and Stanley Kubrick was a perfectionist. Kubrick was doing it because he wanted them to be that on set. You know, he wanted them to be in front of the camera what he wanted them to be. So he would like treat them outside of takes because he thought it would affect their performance. And Shelley Duvall, let's be honest, I mean, I think she kind of sucks, but she did a good job in that role, and I think it's because he fucking tortured her for months on end. I won't say that I think that the method is a great idea, like just hire a better actor maybe, but he got the performance out of her, you know?
Well, do you think this constitutes a turning point in the podcast for us? Because I was talking to one of our loyal listeners, and she, complimentary, was trying to intimate. She's like, "Boy, you guys have some hot takes on women, huh?"
Do we?
I was like, "Well,
Really?
I hope
Do
you
we?
know it's all a bit, but like, it's just so funny because my mentality has always been that white women are kind of the last interesting thing to punch on."
Because you can get away with it, you mean?
Because you can get away with it. You'll also piss people off, which is fun. And it's just not interesting to make fun of white men because it's all been done. Like,
Yeah, well, yeah, it's been a while of that.
and I feel like if you and I were to steer really hard and like,
Quit picking on white men.
white men are so dumb and so fucking entitled and blah, like
It feels a little on the nose.
it runs the risk of looking like we're trying to curry favor and be neckbeards. But the irony is, I don't want to be an incel. but I'm pretty sure that my whole shtick has turned me into one against my will.
Well, your shtick is a little incelly. There's always the fear that Poe's Law will one day catch up with the show, and we'll get like a big following of like, yeah, he tells it how it is, brother.
Dude, I hope it does, and they give me a reality show where it's like the white woman poacher, and I'm just like Steve Irwin. I'm like, ooh, we got a nice Sheila here. Ooh, she's pissed. She wants to speak to the manager. Just rub your hands over her eyes, and she falls asleep. You duct tape her mouth shut.
Yeah. Look at that. Oh, we're just gonna tie her up.
Look at her.
Put her in the back of the loo.
She's tucking out. She's got the willies.
Yeah, it's just us tying up white women in urban centers and then releasing them into fields on the outsides of, on the outskirts of suburbs. All right, go on into those. I don't know where I am. Go on out there. You're free now.
You're where you're at. You're where you're supposed to be. You're free. Oh, look at the coat on this one. It's literally just a goose down coat that you're just petting.
Get us some food for the rest of the day. Just drop a couple of pumpkin spice lattes on the ground. Off you go. Go on.
Go on. You can mate with other Karens in the wild.
You're free now. You're free.
Oh, she bit me. Christ.
There's no managers out here to hurt you.
The patriarchy can't get you out here in the woods.
Great.
You can go build a dam or something. I don't know.
I thought you were. We started by being like, it's all just a bit, and then we just went right fucking back into it.
Yep. Pretty much.
It's not you. It's the Karens. Not all women, right?
Not all Karens. Yeah, I mean, we're drilling further and further down. We went from women to white women to Karens, and pretty soon because Karen is like kind of an apolitical state of mind.
Sure.
So then we'll drill down to like MAGA Karens.
They've got to have a different set of names. Like if a Karen is are MAGAs like all Karens, or is it like squares and rectangles, but not all rectangles are squares? You know what I mean? But like all Karens that are MAGAs are Karens, but not all Karens are Karens?
Not all Karens are MAGA, because I've definitely seen liberal
But all
women
MAGAs
go
are
full
Karens.
Karen. I guess so. In my experience, every MAGA woman I've ever interacted with or seen anything from has been pretty Karen-y.
A heinous bitch, I guess.
Was that line from 10 Things I Hate About You? Your classmates think you're somewhat tempestuous? Heinous bitch was the term used quite often.
It's a great one. It's really well done. I wish people would use it more.
Allison
Heinous
Janney is the principal
bitch.
writing the sex novel.
Yeah.
What's another word for engorged? That's great. That was a great movie. I heard he once ate an entire duck, all but the beak and feet.
Yep. Heath Ledger and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I don't think they've worked together since, which is a shame.
I know. They should
What
do more
a
stuff together.
dynamic duo. And the girl who was she Alex Mack or was it Clarissa? I can't remember which.
Alex Mack.
Who was Alex Mack? Right?
Larissa Olenek.
Yep.
Thank you, autism. I remember things. You know, I could have been a fucking...
Never forget a pretty face.
I have a pictographic memory for pretty faces.
This guy's the Rain Man of misogyny. It's incredible.
Essentially. Pretty much. They'll make me the king of the men go their own way
sitting
movement
there.
against my will.
You're sitting there. Swordfish. What? That's where you see Halle Berry's tits. It's in Swordfish.
18 minutes and 41 seconds in.
Okay.
Lasts approximately 10 and a half seconds.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You know, I think she made like $500,000 for that.
For
250 G's per boob. I would do that. Somebody's like, hey, show your balls in Swordfish across from John Travolta. We'll edit out him salivating.
You got to be careful with that. Oh my God. I just want to put those dude eggs in my mouth.
There's nothing wrong with it. I wish of anything that John Travolta would be one of those like last like him. I wish he would finally accept the fact that everyone knows that he's gay and is okay with it and just fucking come out and say it.
We're all like, it'd be like a Caitlyn Jenner situation. We're
Yeah.
all waiting with open arms for Travolta to be like, I'm gay.
At this point, it would be like in other news, water is wet and it's Wednesday, and you just would go out about your day. But oh, okay, fucking finally, and off you would go with your day. No one would give a shit. It would be like the biggest announcement of something like that to the least amount of fanfare in the world. You know,
There's still some guy out there who watches, Saturday Night Fever. It's like, now that's a man right there. He's fucking eating spaghetti and a wife beater, doesn't get a drop of sauce on him. That's
what?
You can keep your John Wayne.
He's a fairy. Oh no.
Jesus Christ.
What am I going to do with all my boogie? No, not boogie nights. I was going to say, what am I going to do with my Saturday Night Fever memorabilia?
You mean I've been dancing in a white suit for 35 years just to find out that's homo behavior?
What am I going to do after all them dancing lessons?
Fuck.
What am I going to do?
Someone call the patriarchy. I need help.
Yeah, I need to figure this out. Ah, man. Yeah, I would love to see it at this point. I just don't care like it makes me wonder if the reason, and this is me getting my tinfoil hat on, obviously, is like maybe Scientology has like some deeper secret about it. Like he's gay in the way that Kevin Spacey is gay.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh no,
He's gay for boys that don't have hair down there.
Yeah, like, and he's got like that secret thing, like, oh well, Travolta was flying his plane very much in the same way that Epstein was flying his plane.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh no, John, oh boy. And it's like maybe they've got something over and like, don't you tell everyone that you're gay, or we'll tell them what you did to Timothy Chalamet to get his career going.
Oh my God, that Timothy.
We're taking a lot of cracks at Timothy Chalamet on the podcast.
Fuck him. He sucks. He's a shitty actor. I'm so pissed that he's playing Paul Atreides in Dune.
Is he?
Not that Dune's like a super sacred thing, but
I don't know a ton about it, but I feel like they're gonna fuck it up.
I guess I'm just like, as bad as the David Lynch Dune was, Kyle MacLachlan was really good in it. I'm just like a super Kyle MacLachlan homer.
I see.
I don't think anyone that listens to this knows who that is.
Probably not.
He's the mayor in Portlandia. Maybe you've
There you
seen
go.
that.
I mean, I haven't.
Not you, them.
That reference doesn't land for me.
our hipster ass audience.
I liked Timothy Chalamet in The King or whatever when he was the British. It was the Henry V story.
Was he Hotspur?
No, he was Henry.
It wasn't Hotspur Henry?
I don't know. My terminology. What?
Didn't you direct this show, motherfucker?
Yeah. I
Wasn't
don't remember the name.
Hotspur the name of, like, the nickname of King Henry?
Not that I remember. We might have edited that part out though.
Really?
Again, it was 10 years ago, and we did heavy edits because the guy I did it for didn't want there to be any of that like doubt. Because you've got like in Henry V, there was like those certain characters that are basically making you question the good King Henry like viewpoint and motivation, and sort of make him come across as arrogant.
You
or
mean his crew,
foolhardy.
Peto and Bardolph?
Yeah.
Hilarious. One of them is named Peto, by the way.
But those guys, like our edit removed it because we had a guy, his name was Nick Clary, who was at our college, and he was basically like the nation's foremost expert on Hamlet. Like the dude had like held the original text and like
Sneezed on it.
yeah.
Turns into dust.
But like, so the guy was an expert on Shakespeare, especially Hamlet. So I don't know why that pertains to Henry V, but he helped him do the edits for the show. And so the guy I did it with, his name was Gary, and he was playing Henry. He wanted all of that taken out. So we took out all of the stuff that made you doubt Henry V in any way in the show, and just made him look like this beacon of hope.
Just made like propaganda out of it.
It was a good King
essentially.
Henry. Yeah, it was total propaganda.
See, if you're obvious about the edits and making it propaganda, that's a genius idea. But if you just take it out and like don't let the audience know that it was ever there, that's incredibly dishonest.
Well, and I feel like
sorry to Gary.
I feel like, I would like to give him credit in assuming that he had a very specific take on it from like that sort of like a propaganda piece kind of a feel to it. I mean, we did that really crazy thing where we set it in the future. It was a post-apocalyptic Shakespeare.
That's never been done.
No one's ever done that. But we also like very much like played up like the blue versus red sort of political thing. But it was Britain and France, obviously, and we set like a lot of the colors and the tones for that. And I thought it came out pretty well. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure it was more of it being like, I want to be a super unquestioned hero because we were fucking college students, But it was fun. But yeah, we took out all of that extra shit, so I can't really comment on any of that too much.
Okay.
But again, all this is to say, I thought Timothy Chalamet did an okay job as Henry in The King. I think that's what it was called, The King.
Yes. The original king of comedy.
Yep. And Robert Pattinson played the Dauphin.
Ah, yes.
And he did a good job being a total fucking douchebag. But I already don't like Robert Pattinson. And I think that's just the Twilight thing.
See, and I do like him because in the stuff that he's done with the Safdie brothers, like Good Time and all that kind of stuff, he's done a good job. Well, I think he's going to be a good Batman.
Oh, I'm sure he's going to be fine. Maybe that'll turn me around on him. For me, it was just... And again, this is that sort of sad placement of people in stories that you don't understand, that don't make sense to you. I'm like, okay, let's watch these people market this story about a 150-year-old vampire hitting on a 16-year-old chick, and everyone's fine with it. Because he's glittery and cute. Yeah. And I'm just like, this is a weird fucking story,
Can you imagine Danny DeVito as Edward Cullen in the Twilight movies?
So anyways, I started blasting.
I can't go out in the sun or I sparkle.
Yeah. I just sat there. I was just like,
why don't you come over and we'll plow?
It was weird for me, especially because when that was happening, this is when I was a substitute teacher at an elementary school.
When Twilight was big?
Well, it was like right in the recent time. Like it was towards the final one coming out. Edward versus Jacob. Edward versus Jacob. And everybody, like, you did like fourth graders, some of them with their Edward like folders. Like, you remember those like little chintzy paper
I thought you said
folders?
N-word for a minute. I was like, oh my God.
N-word Twilight. Get with it. They came out before Hamlet, and they gave him the ideas.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyways.
So they had Twilight Trapper Keepers. Go on.
They had Twilight Trapper Keepers. Some of them had the Edward, some of them had the Jacobs. And it was just all Twilight stuff. There's tons of it. You got Twilight kids with pencil toppers and Twilight pencils and pens and erasers and folders and Trapper Keepers and all kinds of shit. And I'm sitting there being like, this is fucked up. Like, these kids like shouldn't be like revering these characters. These are not great characters. This whole fucking movie and show and book was a fucked up like
it's about supernatural stat rape.
It's about supernatural stat rape and like an extreme version of it. The dude pretends to be a teenager and goes and creeps on chicks at the local high school. And everyone's like, this is such a tale of romance. I'm like, you missed the whole fucking story.
Well, the first dead giveaway should have been Edward's van that he made her help him move a couch into the back of. You want to know what I call my van? I don't know. Is it Vampire? Wow, you're really good.
Here, take a drink of this strange liquid.
This definitely isn't my blood mixed with Spanish fly.
Oh, I just remember like all the things I heard about that. It's like, oh my God, her contractions like broke the house in half. I'm like, Christ.
Yeah, oh my God.
Shit's
okay.
gonna like rip her apart from the inside out.
Like a bag of Fritos, apparently.
Yeah.
Like a Mylar balloon getting shot with a bazooka. Apparently she like bleeds out and dies, and that's why the
and they
guy
have to
turns into a
bite her
vampire.
and turn her. Yeah. I sat there and go, how's like what is like you try to analyze that whole movie and you're just like, what the fuck does any of this supposed to mean?
What's to analyze? It was some horny woman that was like,
well, apparently it was a horny Christian woman who was also basically trying to set like the argument of like men are disgusting creatures who crave young flesh.
Correct.
As was accurately described in Community once by the character Jeff Winger.
Yes.
Yeah. But like you sit there and you go, okay, that all makes sense. But I feel like that moral was lost on most of America, perhaps.
Yeah, because they just wanted to fit the abs together like Lego bricks.
Yeah,
and-
snapping it, click, click.
Yep.
We're together forever. Robert Pattinson and that other guy who ended up being in the Ridiculous Six.
Oh my God! And now has no career.
Yeah, Taylor Lautner. Because dude, he was just a pretty face. That dude was just a pretty face with a nice body.
Mm-hmm.
Grate cheese on them abs. Mm.
Oh man. His abs
at
look
that.
like little King's Hawaiian buns.
Yeah, those little popovers.
Sweet to the taste, even hotter to the
They're
touch.
even glazed. Look at them.
Look at them.
Look at how they doing that. How are they doing that, but getting proper lighting in there without getting glare? Boy, the makeup industry sure is getting great in Hollywood. Am I right? I'm taking the wrong things away from this.
Now again, I just want it to be Danny DeVito and then the guy that played his brother on Always Sunny, John Polito, just to play
greasy
Edward
eating
and Jacob.
chicken.
They're just greasy wrestling each other. Come
cut
here,
it
you
out.
dumb werewolf.
Kristen Stewart's mine.
She's like, oh no.
You just look at all of them. I just go, how did you guys have careers after this, though? That's my thing, you know?
Because Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson are genuinely talented. I wouldn't die on the hill of like, they're amazing actors.
I wouldn't die on the hill that Kristen Stewart's an amazing actor.
But they're talented. She's got talent. You seen the
Sure.
movie X-Ray, Camp X-Ray?
No, I haven't.
It's where she's like a guard at Guantanamo, which somehow made it in the episode 2 times now.
no.
She's like a guard at Guantanamo who falls in love with like a Muslim dissident prisoner.
It reminds
Does
me
a
of
pretty good
another.
job.
Reminds me of another. Since we were talking about plays at my old college, somebody wrote a play that was very much like that for her senior seminar. She wrote herself. She wrote, starred, and basically directed because she brought in one of her friends who had no theater experience to direct for her, and she just fucking told her what to do.
Just
the
a
whole
puppet
time.
dictatorship.
A puppet. It was the most amazing thing ever.
That's clever.
I had so much fun watching the process because everyone's like, this is ridiculous. I'm like, this is incredible. This is the one show that I will hate from beginning to end that I will watch like basically fully erect. I'm just
But
so
it's the
excited.
art behind the art that makes it so funny.
It was like, you ever seen Hearts of Darkness? Way better than Apocalypse Now. And I'm sitting there watching. The story was about a woman, a female nurse, nursing back to health, a suicide bomber, a terrorist who had not succeeded in like being a martyr, and she falls in love with him, and everybody when you were like, if you were ever part of like a theater department at a school, high school or whatever, you were kind of expected to audition for everything. It didn't really matter if you didn't like, it was just about the experience and like putting yourself out of the comfort zone. And I looked at that one script and I was like, I am not auditioning for that shit. I am not going to audition for that because she's going to put me in it.
I was going to say, please tell me you got a call back for the terrorist.
Oh, dude, I know like I would have gotten a call back for something. And so I sat there and watched this other kid. His kid's name was Chris, and he's like 100 pounds soaking wet. Nice kid. And he gets to play the guy, and there's a lot of making out in this show.
Well, can I also ask you, was he Muslim?
No.
Was he white?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No.
It's a college in Vermont. We're 99% white
So
kids.
change it to a member of the IRA of something.
Make it the IRA or make it like, alt-right terrorism or something. But no, this I'm
The
pretty
guy
sure
that stormed the Capitol gets nursed to hell.
I'm pretty sure the play took place in like a green zone. Again, and she wrote this herself. She took no writing classes. Like she just wanted to write it, and then she also wanted to start it, so she played the nurse. And I'm telling you, man, it was so good. And for all the wrong reasons.
I'm sure.
And I'm saying, like, look, everyone gets those things, and like maybe she looks back in it 10 years from now and goes, no, I thought it was pretty good. It wasn't. That's okay. It's not like anything that anybody else did was particularly amazing. And like she actually like went through with writing it and doing it. But oh my God, like I sat through on one of like her like rehearsals, and she basically just like ran roughshod over her director.
Yeah.
It was so good.
See, and like I've been in that position because I wrote and directed my senior sem. I didn't star in it, but I wrote and directed my senior seminar.
That's fine.
And
I get that.
My 4 actors brought their all. I just wrote a terrible script. Like it was just a bad show. It was just a lot of monologuing about weird shit and like violence, and
That seems so off character for you.
I know.
man.
And like I thought I was clever because I'm like, oh, the one character's the star of the show, right? And it's set up like she's gonna torture them a la Saw throughout the play. And then she chokes on a grape and dies. So poor Kato had to lay on the floor for like half an hour. And at one point during rehearsals, I had to like check all the sight lines, and I go to sit on the side. I'm like, we need to get her a longer dress because she.
I see everything.
Yeah, I see what she had for lunch. So
Sorry.
yeah, I'm like, oh dear.
Yeah.
And so like they were totally game. She did it. She would just every night she gave it her all. She fucking laid there while the other people got to act, and like I'm like very grateful for their level of buy-in. But I wrote dog shit, and I know it.
Well, it's all about that commitment too. Don't get me wrong. And I will say to these people's credit, like they gave it their all too. Like he tried the shit out of it, because it's basically like 3 people the whole show. Like it's like a full play, and he's in a bed, she's the nurse, and then there's 2 people who stand around in military uniforms the whole time. They just stand there as guards. Like that's the whole fucking show. And I think maybe his brother comes through and is like, "You're gonna do another terrorist attack with me, right?" And like that kind of thing. And you're like, "Holy fuck!"
That's fantastic.
Hey, dude, it was like watching an episode of NCIS, but with like 3 people. And you're like,
Please,
"Oh, so good."
please tell me that she made the guys playing the terrorists use accents.
I don't think she did.
Oh well, that's a missed opportunity right there.
Maybe they tried to. I can't remember.
Can you imagine?
It was one of those things where I'm pretty sure like a lot of like the more veteran of the theater department were like, I'm going to step away from this one and let you just do your thing. Because I'm pretty sure the people who were casting it, one of them was my age, and so that was my junior year, and then the other kid was a freshman. And then it was her a senior. And then the guards were freshmen. And it was just, again, it was my favorite thing to watch. I don't think I ever enjoyed, and again, for all the wrong reasons. I'm an asshole for talking about it like this, obviously, but I don't care.
Who gives a shit?
It was so good for
you
all the wrong
put your work
reasons.
out there. You know what I mean? People can critique this podcast, and they have.
Oh my God, and I did so much crap. Like all I did was direct stuff, and like it's not like I made bold choices or made intelligent work. I just tried to make people look goofy and funny and make people laugh. Like that was half of my goal anyways. Oh. You know? And then setting the Battle of Agincourt and Henry V to Led Zeppelin's Baby, I'm Gonna Leave You was pretty fun. That was like that's the whole thing I did, and just weird shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
I miss it. Well, I tried after I graduated to go and work down at our old high school and direct down there, and they did not like the idea. They're like, "Yeah, did you like apply?" I'm like, "No, I came down personally and handed in my resume." so that you guys could like see my level of commitment and interest. And they were basically just like, yeah, you're too close to the age of the girls, and we don't want you fucking them, since that's been a problem with people we've hired in the past. And it was, because when I was in school there was this guy who came through, his name was Brian, and he fucked a lot of the students, and actually ended up only getting fired because they found out that he had gotten done drinking with a couple of the students, and that's what they got him on.
That's where we draw the line.
That was too much. Rumors going around that this dude's been banging 16-year-olds in his mid-20s. Totally
Have
fine.
sex with all the teenage sniz you want, but so help me God if you crack a beer afterwards.
Yeah. I tell you what, 2004 was a different time, guys.
Apparently.
Apparently. Oh, but
Back when our
yeah.
heroes had no collars, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, well done. Good reference
Fucking
for anyone
douchebags.
from down
Anyway.
here. Who would get that reference? We're not going to explain it.
Yep. That's an inside joke.
But it was wild. I mean, we've known people who all said that, though, who worked at that school. Like, after they graduate, I'm going to try and bang them. We're like, that's creepy. That's a little creepy,
Great.
but that's okay.
He lived here.
Yeah.
My dad sheltered that man. I don't know where he found out that this guy got fired and kicked out of the house he was staying in. He was like, you could stay here. And I just showed up one day and the dude's drinking a beer on our couch. I was like, oh, no.
Yeah. Well, it was weird. It was such a fun time because he was friends with other people who were also subs at the time. And then I'm pretty sure he had a falling out with them when he banged their underage cousin.
Oh, the webs we weave.
Yeah. I just sat there and went like, if you guys were looking for someone to bang, I was right over here. I don't understand. Am I not as cute as the 20? I wasn't.
Been greasing my hog with tea tree oil every day after school, like a fucking baseball mitt.
I've been preparing for this all of my life. As soon as I knew what my penis was for, I was practicing.
Watch, I can get instantly hard. You just blow into your thumb. Like, it just inflates.
All right, good. Pop it with a pin.
We done here? You just stab yourself in the dick with a needle.
Isn't that fun? I hope everyone got a good image from that.
Yeah, you guys happy? We are.
Yeah, high school was weird. It was right at that age when like hazing stopped being okay, but just for like 1 year more, I got it. So like they had seniors like throwing me in the snow and dragging me around and smacking my ass with their textbooks and shit. A little gay, but whatever. All in good fun.
They held me down and they kissed me and they told me I'd never be alone and they could get lost in my starry eyes.
Turns out a lot of hazing involves being the little spoon, but hey, what are you going to do?
You listen to a lot of Hey There, Delilah while you spoon with a fullback.
If only that had been around at that time. Probably would have made me feel a lot better. Oh, it's what you do to me.
Shh, I need to get some sleep. I got a big game tomorrow.
Well, it was awful for me because my sister like dated all the upperclassmen, or dated one upperclassman, and he knew all these other guys. So he'd be over constantly like with one of his friends, and they would just torture me when she wasn't around. Because they just hang out the house. They would just hang out and give me shit and beat my ass.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me a lot stronger, but also a lot more mentally unstable. If this makes sense to anybody now, it's all coming together. But
This is how we got here.
yeah, that's how we got here.
This highly misogynist, potentially turn into the alt-right podcast.
Yeah,
just slip right into it.
I'd like to think that the fun part that the audience have to figure out is like which things we're telling the truth about and which things are lies.
Yeah.
We kind of smatter it in and out. Like, did you know that Julia Roberts used to beat dogs?
Like
Yeah.
if I told you that they said dress for the job you want, so I interviewed at dealer.com dressed as the Sultan of Brunei and doing a Dracula accent, would you believe that I actually did that based on my behavior on the podcast?
Not this time.
We made it up.
Thanks, Jonathan Frakes. I can't wait for that sticker to come out. That one's going to be a good one. We made it up.
The Frake sticker.
Yeah, I don't know because Will is likeness.
Dude, I made Baby Yoda eating a piece of pizza, put it up, and within 5 seconds they were like, we took it down, and if you try to do this again, we will suspend your account.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with Disney. They need that $5 very badly.
Super important for multi-billion-dollar Disney to make every red fucking cent that it can squeeze out of the Baby Yoda franchise.
Yeah. Oh, my friend is having a hard time, and she asked me to make her a custom sticker of one of your characters eating a pizza. And rather than seeing that as a compliment, you made me take it down and threaten to destroy my fucking industry.
Like, if I had made him orange, would we have gotten away with it? Totally different character.
The loophole is don't put a face on him because it detects facial features, and like I didn't tag it as like Baby Yoda,
Draw
Grogu.
your own face.
Yeah, but you have to like put. I realized, and it's wild because I made a Casey Musgrave sticker. So I don't know how it got past the fucking gate, but
No, because
all the other ones, she has no facial features.
It's because she's not attached to some triple. She's not attached to Disney, so like there's no one out there like hunting for blood. You know?
Now that's where you're wrong. Because I would drink Casey Musgrave's blood if she asked me to.
Yep. Great.
Oh, man. What a lady.
The things you would do to her that we're not going to talk about.
I'd eat a yard of her shit to see where it came from.
Because this is the part where he's being serious.
Yeah, this, I will warn you, is not a joke.
Yeah. Normally we don't do that. Normally we let you figure it out on your own. But not this time. Yeah. Not this time.
Not this time.
That one's real.
This one's horny. I don't know. And I also thought a lot about, have you seen any of the, well, you don't really watch a lot of terrestrial TV, so you probably haven't seen the new Subway ads.
No, I'm really, really happy that I've sort of like removed myself from basic cable television. It's really nice.
Well, you should be, because I'll tell you what people watch. Like, when I was leaving today, my mom and stepdad were watching Dr. Pimple Popper, and I'm like, that's how you know that we as a nation have had our spirits thoroughly broken. When we'll spend an hour watching a woman squeeze goo out of a redneck's
Jesus
fucking
Christ,
throat.
look at the pus coming out of that guy. I promise you I've seen worse things on Reddit, though.
But it's just like, that is mainstream entertainment. The two big things they watch are, Dr. Goo Squeezer and fucking that Below Deck show that's basically just like the yacht crew.
Dr. Goo Squeezer.
Getting dysentery and fucking on the boat while people are like, I ordered the shrimp scampi and my little dog ate the shells and he had an accident below deck and like,
oh no.
You're just watching hot people spray diarrhea off the deck of a boat for an hour.
That's all of these things. Again, it's like when you watch those fucking shows where like, we're looking for a new house. Betty is a dog groomer and Donald makes cards for Hallmark Corporation. Their house budget is $500,000. You're like, Jesus Christ, where the fuck did they get that money?
Donald is a recently unemployed demagogue, and Melania is his fashion plate wife.
Yeah.
Their budget is whatever they took from the coffers on their way out.
Yeah, $2.4 million. It's just insane to see what like some of those people have. I'm like, Jesus, like, is that really like how much money you make doing some of this crap? Like, do I just need to go to San Francisco and be like, yes, I'm a boutique dog groomer. I will color young Mitzi a nice purple and speak like Werner Herzog the entire
for
time.
some reason.
And they're like, oh my God, take my money.
Well, and again,
Your dog is full of mange.
And also secrets.
In secret.
I came in your dog.
That one's true.
That's the secret. But like, you're missing out on commercials. The new Subway one, dude,
I don't agree. I don't
is
think I
so
am.
well. You're not missing it, but I heard it the other day and it literally stopped me in my tracks. This is a company that had to fire their pedophile mascot, right?
Yes.
So now their new thing is like, well, we're going to offer like super protein packed options. Big campaign towards protein at Subway.
Health, yeah.
Their slogan, if you will believe this, is it's not amateur teen, it's protein. And I'm like, I don't think the pedophile companies should use amateur teen in their fucking marketing.
I feel like at that point they should just be like, what's Jared doing down at the old prison? And like, hey guys, and like they just start filming it from the correctional institution. Like, well, he'll keep doing it. It's goodwill for him. I'm sorry about all the stuff that I did, but look how thin I still am because I've been smuggling in piping hot Subway sandwiches. Give me a second. And he unkeisters a $5 footlong and puts that shit right in his mouth.
I keep the chicken teriyaki in my prison wallet.
Yeah. And then
Which is
like
your
a guy comes up
butthole.
and just shanks him. Oh, jeez. Back to the infirmary.
I'm going to lose so much weight.
They don't let these wounds close ever.
It's vinaigrette.
You'd like to think that Jared's having a hard time in prison.
He had to like use some of his Subway money to hire like bodyguards inside of there.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
And I'm fairly certain a member of the Aryan Brotherhood tried to kill him.
I'm surprised like that they didn't, there's other, well, he's white, so we'll let him join. He's a white person of note.
He's white, but he likes the kids.
Who would have thought that the Aryan Nation's line hung right around pedophilia? Which, don't get me wrong, I'm surprised. I learned something today. Turns out the Aryan Brotherhood has a sense of morality.
Well, that's been the whole QAnon thing is like, we got to liberate the kids from the pedophiles.
Yeah.
They're being milked for their adrenochrome.
I'd be like, which is so weird that you guys give so much money to Donald Trump. Like the guy who like how is it that all of these other these politicians and celebrities who all have these like really murky backgrounds are like, look, this dude's been seen over here with Epstein at this fashion shoot. And then look, here they are at a party later, or the shit with Prince Andrew. And everybody can sit and point at those and go, this is clear what's going on. But Donald Trump, he's a hero. He was probably just trying to infiltrate the ring so that he could help the Q in figuring this out.
Well, they always point to he kicked Jeffrey Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago when people complained about Jeffrey Epstein being creepy to the youngins.
But what about everything before then?
And that was purely a business decision. That
Yeah.
was like, oh boy, a lot of people
is
with
gonna make me
money will
look
take
bad.
their business elsewhere.
Well, it's like I want to sit there and go, do you guys honestly think that there weren't any rumors in Hollywood about what was going on with these people? These were kept secrets. Everybody knew what Kevin Spacey was doing, or at least had heard the rumors, just like everyone pretty much knows John Travolta's gay, just like how everyone pretty much knew Danny Masterson was a scumbag. Everybody knew these little secrets. You just weren't the narc who was going to bring it about until the Me Too movement kind of came out, and then everybody came out of the woodwork to go, yeah, no, I heard that too. And it was the people who sat there and went, well, I have direct evidence, who put these people away. But look how long it took Hollywood to turn on the Bill Cosbys and honestly, as sad as the lesser extent, like the Louis C.K., you know? Obviously, you don't rope all these people in the same thing because Bill Cosby was drugging and raping people. Danny Masterson was physically abusive. You have Kevin Spacey who was taking advantage of young boys on set. And there are all these varying degrees of horrible, but we can obviously all admit that these are all horrible things. But like to pretend that like nobody knew what was going on and you have these like certain pick and choose because you like that person, it just is so crazy to me. Like somehow Donald Trump just like wasn't involved in all this shit. Everybody heard the stuff he said in front of Howard Stern about his daughter. He said some pretty creepy things.
Well, there's pictures too of her when she was like 13 and she's got that like 1,000-yard stare while she's sitting on his lap.
Oh, and if Joe fucking Biden's creepy for putting his hands on a girl's shoulders, then what the fuck?
Yeah, it's very strange.
Just have some consistency. Like, I'm the first person here who's like, well, I'm happy that Biden won because I didn't want 4 more years of Trump. But it doesn't mean I like the guy or think that he's not a fucking creep. I can admit all that stuff. It should let you know how bad Donald Trump was that this asshole over here won. Where's the disconnect? Everyone's sitting there, well, this is fucking ridiculous. No, it's more of the same when you can sit there and go, but this guy's got a sense of morality, at least in some cases. Like, that's where America is right now. That makes me super fucking concerned.
Well, I mean,
I don't know what else to say there is to say about it, but
no, this is and what I have to say is like totally trite but also correct, which is nobody's perfect. Like
nobody's perfect.
That doesn't excuse pedophilia.
No.
But it does mean like someone like Joe Biden, again, is he the first guy I would have gone with? No. Pretty glad it's him and not more Trump.
Yeah, again, I keep using the analogy. I use it on my other podcast. Dry shit versus wet shit. Which would you rather pick up? Because Trump was wet shit and Biden's dry shit. But at least he's easier to pick up in your hands and he crumbles away.
Yeah.
Is that a good analogy? Write to us at the Skimbo Lounge
Yeah,
at
you
gmail.com.
tell us. Do you want us to just talk more about women and how dumb they are, I guess? I don't know.
I don't know. What is it?
I'm tired of my own gimmick because like now that people are coming out of the woodwork to be like, oh, that one was pretty spicy. I'm like, oh, was it?
Shut up, bitch. No, I'm just kidding.
Why don't you go get back in the kitchen and fetch me a sandwich?
That's really weird. I don't remember asking for this opinion.
Yeah. And that joke's been used 1,000 times, too, the sandwich bit. It's just like, we need new frontiers. But like,
why don't women wear watches? Bap, 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 bap.
I don't know.
Well, maybe it's a new year. Maybe we got to go after someone else.
But who is there to go after?
Mentally disabled children.
Honestly, I thought about that today because there was a
jeez.
TD Ameritrade commercial that was bears in a supermarket shopping for honey, and it was like, the joke was obviously like, it's a bear market. And I just turned to my stepdad and I was like, this is how I know they have little developmentally disabled kids doing all the pitches for these commercials. They're like, well, bears like honey. I almost did a voice and I restrained myself.
Well done. Good for you. I'm very proud.
Bears like honey. So that's how you get that. It would have been funnier if I could do the voice, but this is the problem.
Yeah.
Because I can't do the voice and like have anyone realize that I'm not making fun of these children. I'm making fun of the people taking advantage of them. Mm-hmm. But there's no nuance anymore.
You're right. No, I would try to cancel you.
Yeah.
I would try to get you canceled for that. That's just because of my own murky, I just want to end up doing the podcast for myself. So I'll get you canceled and I'll just sit here, isn't it a great day, Rory? Why, yes, it is, Rory. And I'll just sit here laughing at myself in a closet. It was always the goal.
Honestly, when I'm ready to just torch this thing, I'm just going to every slur I can think of and just be done.
Today's episode, we'll be talking about the Jews
Yeah. The JQ.
and their problem and some solutions that we might have for dealing with them. Some of them seem somewhat final.
Tune in to find out more.
On the next episode of Skimbo Front. Skimbo Front.
Oh, I miss our old theme song.
I do too. Hopefully we don't get sued for that little blurb that we just...
No, fuck no. Happy birthday.
Fuck.
Just looking through my notes to see if I had anything else I wanted to talk about.
No, it's getting kind of hard. It's getting kind of
Well,
difficult.
you can't go anywhere or do anything and like pick. Like again, everything I think about is like, I wonder if they have little fucking special needs kids writing commercials.
Commercials
I
for the
wonder
Safeway.
if pedophiles could have a reality show, like a reality dating show,
Yeah.
with those kids that write the commercials. Like,
Yeah.
is that predatory or is that a beautiful love? I don't know. You tell me, Nambla.
Yeah. Well, I'm waiting. I mean, since we're on the pedophile talk, you keep checking, but I can't wait to see what happens with the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. That's going to be fantastic. For those of you who don't know, obviously that's Epstein's like love interest, Madam.
She was his child pimp.
Yes. Yeah. And she funneled kids to him. And she is in prison. She hasn't, quote, killed herself yet or had anything like that happen to her. And honestly, I think it's because she's like a triple asset. She's Mossad.
Well, yeah, her dad was like IDF, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah. Dude, she's crazy levels of connected. Like, everyone looks at it like, the Clintons are really connected people. You go, Ghislaine Maxwell was fucking connected. She's got passports in multiple countries. She's got multiple citizenships with them. She's connected to Mossad. She's connected to intelligence in different countries. Apparently, people think that she might have been feeding intelligence between them, and that this whole thing that she set up might have been at the behest of some intelligence agency to set up a honeypot, because when you get high-level celebrities and you get high-level politicians involved in a pedophile ring, they become easier to squeeze. And honestly, even when you talk about how crazy of a conspiracy that is, it makes fucking sense. Like, some of the shit that intelligence agencies do to gain unwilling assets is you'd be surprised. You would be surprised by the shit that some of the shit that they've done.
Well, it's what we were talking about with Travolta and Scientology too. You know,
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
It's just preying on people's insecurities and their needs to get them over a barrel, and show them
especially
the 50
when they're in the
states.
public eye. It just becomes much, much easier. It doesn't even have to be as intense as like what was going on with, you know, that whole ring. It can be something as banal as Travolta being gay, where they're just like, yeah, but you don't even know. Like, when you're a company, or I mean, I'll call them a company, like Scientology, and you've got multi-billions to work with and no taxes to pay, you can certainly spend $100 million of your money destroying John Travolta's credibility because he pissed you off.
And see, with him, I feel like they don't necessarily even like have a bunch of dirt on him as much as he's an insecure guy. When you get someone
disagree.
young and you help them build their entire world the way
Yeah.
they helped him, I think you don't know anything else. It's like
Oh, that's true.
being
Yeah.
trapped by Ariel Castro in a room for 14 years. Like, you don't know if
don't
you're
know
ever going
the-
to see daylight again. All you know is where you came from.
The thing about Scientology, though, is like you're familiar with like the auditing process in OTs, like your OT 1 to 7 or whatever it is. There's a part during that process of auditing where they go through your entire life with a fine-tooth comb.
Man, they
I mean,
keep
everything.
dossiers
and they
on
keep
you.
files and dossiers. So like, this is why I feel like a lot of celebrities don't leave Scientology, because you get to that point where they sit there and go, "Oh yeah, you can leave." But we also have that filing cabinet on you where you told us about that 7-year-old you hit with your car and drove away because you felt guilty about it. And then talking about it was how the only way you were going to get clear, you know, their whole body thetans argument that they have, which is obviously just evil alien spirits that are inside of you, making you
Yes.
secure, or insecure, making you secure.
Now, that'd be cool.
But, you know, they get all of your darkest, dirtiest dirt. So I guarantee you somewhere out there was a file with Danny Masterson where they were sitting there being like, oh, yeah, he beats his girlfriends. He's emotionally and physically abusive. And if he had ever left the church, which he didn't, obviously, but if he had, I would have guaranteed that if it hadn't come out, it would have come out, because that's what they would have done. They would have just destroyed your credibility. If you leave Scientology, you are now against us. So we're going to use all of the ammo we have at our disposal to discredit you as a person. I mean, look at the fucking campaigns they went on against Leah Remini because she walked out and decided that her whole goal was to try to dismantle Scientology.
Yeah.
And they went at her with gusto. They're still going after her to this day.
Squirrel busters.
Yeah. Oh, dude, those people are cunts.
It's kind of funny. I realize lives are being destroyed,
I
but
mean, it's funny to the point. But can you imagine if you had left Scientology and you're like at your home in Montana, you left fucking California or New Mexico, wherever you were, to get away from these people, and one day these 4 people show up at your house with professional camera equipment and microphones, and they just start getting in your face and being like, Alex, what do you say to the allegations that you're a pedophile? They smash a microphone into your face. But we just want to know. We just want to know the truth. What are you hiding from? What are you hiding from, Alex? What happened in '92 at that hotel and blah, blah, blah? And you sit there and go, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. They go, yeah, you gotta be honest with people. They want to know the truth. And they just start railing off their accusation against you. And they get all that information out there. They're going to use that video that they just recorded. They're going to put that shit on YouTube. They're going to disseminate that information to all of their supporters, who are then all going to start parroting the same thing and pushing that out into the world.
well, my defense mechanism is always to do a little dance like the guy in the red room in Twin Peaks. Just
Oh, sure. I just like it gets
act
to a
like
point
I'm
though.
insane, so they have that you can't blackmail an insane person.
No, I mean you can't really, but it's the thing where I'd sit there and go, at what point do you start to get pissed off? Because like at first it wouldn't bother you, but then day 2 they're out there, and day 3 they're out there, and you realize these guys are getting a yearly salary to follow you around. It's not 1 week,
But they're
or
giving
1 month.
me an excuse to act like a crazy asshole,
Yeah.
which is kind of all I'm looking for at this point.
Yeah.
So there's a part of
But
me
let's
that
just
wants.
pretend for a second that you were normal.
I wouldn't even know where to begin.
I
What, do you
just,
put
like-
pants on and stuff?
It would just freak me out. Like everywhere you drive, you've got a car behind you. Everywhere you go, you try to go to an interview, they're going to try and break into that interview. You go to have lunch with somebody, they're going to show up at your lunch and try to talk to the person you're talking to. They're going to let everybody in that restaurant know all the accusations that they have against you. Whether it's true or not, it doesn't matter. It's about making you uncomfortable everywhere you go. And they've done this to tons and tons of people, right up into that line of legality, you know, where it's not technically harassment.
Mm-hmm.
It's not technically these things. You can't get a restraining order against these people. And if you do, they just cycle them out. Those guys, those squirrel busters go off to a different squirrel, and then they bring in a different crew to harass you.
I just think it's cute that they wear little T-shirts with your face on them that say "Squirrel Buster" and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like,
I mean, you guys are, I mean, it'd be
it's the attention I crave.
scary if it wasn't like kind of pathetic too. Like, it's just like,
Well, that's just it. It's pathetic. And if you
dedicated your lives to this.
if you act pissed off and you're like, "Rah, rah, 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 rah," and you just like try to psych them out and like do the major flinch and stuff like that, then you're giving them what they want. But if you act like a crazy asshole, they have nothing to do other than go, "What a crazy asshole!" And I wouldn't have acted like that if that wasn't exactly my plan.
Well, I feel like I'd be the guy who's like, all right, they're in their car out back. And then I'd sneak around the back and like pop their tires and shit. You know, I'd be like that guy who just like, I couldn't handle it.
You just blow up the car.
Yeah. You know
That's
what I mean?
that's my advice for dealing with Scientologists.
Well, I just don't know how I would handle it. I just don't know how there's so many people out there that like have to deal with that. Like there's somebody out there right now dealing with one of those crews. Make no mistake, it's happening while you're listening to this.
But that's my point is like I'm so fucking bored and starved for attention that like I'll go join Scientology just to have someone to talk to. You know what I mean?
True.
I'm just
Well, we used to talk about going to the center that was in Boston when we lived in Boston.
Yeah. I talked about like trying to find a meeting in New York because I had what's called a bioelectrical impedance device, which looks like one of their e-meter, their little thetan reader things.
Yeah.
But it's just for measuring body fat. I was like, I could just ride the train with this and ask people if they want to go clear and like start my own illegal wing of Scientology.
just like try to recruit for them. Like, hey man, you can't be doing that.
Yeah.
Hail Xenu! And just like sit at the
Why do you
corner
have all these fat people that are so excited to be in Scientology?
wearing a pan on your head. Come on down to the celeb center.
The mothership is coming.
Yeah.
But this like, you want to know where my head's at because I have no one to talk to all day?
Apparently it's going and talking to Scientologists because you know they will.
Not at all, just until we had this conversation.
Jehovah's
Scientology
Witnesses,
came
huh?
up.
Do tell.
No,
Come in.
I'm mostly thinking about assembling an Avengers-style team comprised of like people that got away with murder or didn't. Scott Peterson, Casey Anthony, Joran Vandersloot, just like we're putting together a team.
Is Robert Durst in prison yet?
He might be.
I think he might be.
He might be awaiting trial.
After the Jinx.
Just an all-star team
Get him in
of
there.
fucked up murderers.
And get Willem Dafoe involved, too, just because he looks like it.
He's the Nick Fury of the team. What a beautiful man.
Everything is better with Willem Dafoe. Yeah. They're like, you guys need to stop. And Willem Dafoe just gives him that creepy jack-o'-lantern smile that he has. We're going to go away.
I'll stop when I'm good and ready to stop.
I tell you, those Spider-Man movies sucked, but what a great casting that was.
And then they covered his fucking face up in the goofy helmet.
Yeah.
They should have just done some prosthetics and just made him a ghoul.
Or just like, yeah.
I don't know.
There's a lot of things they could have done better with those films, but he did a good job. Yeah. I think he did a good job.
That's what counts.
That's what this whole podcast was coming around to. All that stuff was just so that I could tell you guys what a great job I think Willem Dafoe did in Spider-Man 1. And when he comes back and does some of those like background voices in Spider-Man 2 or 3, I can't remember which one it is. He's like in the mirror for James Franco. Face me! And he throws the thing and finds the Green Goblin gear. James Franco really not making a great decision in that film. He did a terrible job, in my opinion.
And he gets blowed up.
Yeah.
You know.
Should've stuck to the interview, James.
Yeah.
And what's with Dave? Look at you. Now he's married to Allison Brie. You're giving that guy way too much. You're giving him way too much.
Yeah.
It's not fair.
It's not fair, Rory. And that's why we have this podcast, to hopefully charm women by getting so down on them that they decide they love us.
Does negging still work? Does it?
Tried and true method.
Like, no, go back to talking about Willem Dafoe.
Yeah,
that was what's getting my train in the station.
Oh
yeah, Willem Dafoe. Tell me more. Tell me more of Sir Willem Dafoe.
Yes, the tales from beyond.
If he hasn't been knighted yet, it is a tragedy of the British crown.
Well, I don't think non-citizens can be knighted.
Thank you. Maybe. Really? Is that true?
I don't think so.
They can make him an official citizen of the British Empire. She can swing that kind of lumber. She's the fucking queen.
I would go, make me a fucking Bobby or don't bother. Let me stand outside your house for 18 hours at a whack, motionless.
Just make me an Esquire. Is that the same thing? How do you become like Rory Fitzgerald Esquire?
You just show up to the House of Lords just coughing blood into a rag and being like, taxation is theft.
We must talk about the landed gentry.
The Prussians have outgrown.
I seem to have the consumption.
Yeah. I'm 20 years old and I will soon be dead.
I've been poisoned by my constituency.
A Southern guy in the House of Lords? That'd be good.
Oh, goodness gracious.
That'd be good. No one listens to this podcast anymore. I guess we can kind of like talk about whatever we want, right?
I thought that's what we were doing already.
Well, I got a random question for you.
Okay, hit me.
It's not like, oh, this is going to be a good one. This is like...
This better not be another gotcha.
It's not.
I told you.
It's a legitimate question.
I regret the things I said on Sally Jesse Raphael. It was the 90s. It was a different time. And if I could take it back, I would.
If you ended up having kids...
Yes.
Do you think you would be a better dad to a girl or boy? What are you better suited for?
I feel like I'd probably be more protective of a girl, but I don't know if that means necessarily good parenting. You know, just because I feel like the world is a lot more dangerous for young women than young men. And that's not because I'm trying to infantilize them. Mm-hmm. I just think that's sadly the reality, that we have a sort of society that's predicated on taking advantage of young women. It just, there's certain things.
Tell me more.
But so I guess if like I had like if I had a daughter, I feel like I would just like it'd be a little bit more careful with like, you know, like if I had a son, I'd be like, all right, it's fine, rub some dirt in it. You got to get strong because public school is going to be a tough time for every kid. Mm-hmm. So, you know, you got to get ready for that. But with a girl, I feel like I'd probably have more fun too, like that first date when the kid comes over. And you get to go to the door and be like, here's my gun. And like just kind of have
just wearing huge Junior Soprano glasses and your robe is open and you're buck naked.
Well, I always feel like I remember that scene from, I can't remember which one of the Bad Boys movies it was, whether it was Bad Boys 1 or 2. Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, where they come to the door and he's got the gun and they scare the kid before his daughter goes out of the day. I always thought of that. I was like, that'd be so much fun. That'd be so much fun.
I was totally lost. I in New York went on a date with a girl to see Bad Boys for Life.
Oh, yeah. And
it was just filled with inside. I haven't seen the first 2 Bad Boys.
There's not really much to get. They were bad boys, and they wish to be for life.
Well, and the guy you're talking about who shows up to date the daughter, spoiler alert, knocks her up in the
Yes.
third one.
Yeah.
So he like shows up at the door, and the whole audience just popped.
Ooh,
They
he's
were like,
still
"Oh,
around.
it's Reginald," and I'm like, "Oh, well, I've missed something here."
Yeah. Well, just because they messed with him, and I think it must have been the second one. Again, it all kind of meshed together, those two movies. But I always think about that. Yeah, so I guess I don't know. I'm not sure which one I would be better at, because maybe my coddling of a young girl, my daughter, would fuck her up, and she'd be one of those people. 8 dicks in her like the tail of a peacock, and like, you know, not saying like that's a bad thing. Like maybe that's, you know, whatever. Different strokes for different folks.
So you're gonna raise a sex positive baby,
potentially,
which is very future forward of you. I appreciate that. See, I
the
think
Lord knows, like I have a young son, and he ends up like pulling the feathers off of birds and torturing little squirrels into the backyard. Look what I've got in the shoebox, and it's just a dissected rat. Oh, Jesus!
I need to make you see, Father.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you see?
Yeah. Why is it that I had the kid who has no emotions like he's fucking Jeffrey Dahmer? God damn it.
Well, see, that's the thing, is you're gonna raise a sex positive baby. I too think I would be a hashtag girl dad.
Me too, huh?
I as well. I want to raise a little like a bully serial killer girl,
Oh, Jesus.
because I think that's the
The
only
world's
way.
a tough place.
I make
Cobra
up-
Kai, no mercy.
Yeah, I make her fall asleep listening to this podcast, and she's like, "You're right, Dad. White women are the devil, and I should be ashamed of what I am." She's just self-flagellating with like a Barney cat of nine tails that I got her for Christmas.
Sings to her, I love you. Slack!
You're going to hell. I don't know.
beautiful.
And then I think they'd have a great dynamic, because your kid would be like, "We're going to get in so much trouble." And my kid's going to be like, "You got to fucking keep your head on straight. And if you leave this fucking getaway car, I'll kill you myself."
I'd like to think that if I had a kid, hey, you know, I'm gonna just, if I have a girl, I'm just gonna change my mind and then just turn her into like the next Rodney or Dangerfield or Chris Farley.
Super obese.
We're all gonna get laid. Click anywhere you want it. She's dancing on the golf course.
That's a fun direction to take it.
Yeah, well, I feel like we could use some more Rodney Dangerfield.
I think
Chris
we could
Farley.
use
We could use some
more
more humor.
party animal fat women to like keep the vibes up. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's a vibe.
Yep.
Yeah.
She falls through our table.
Dude, my cousin's kid,
Oh, Christina.
when she was a baby, looked like little Chris Farley, and I was like, has he returned to us?
I'm a little girl.
I'm a little girl.
I'm a little girl.
And I just wanted to like, oh man, to be a fly on the wall raising that kid, just teach her how to do a good pratfall through a coffee table. I don't understand, Uncle.
Yeah. Why do I need to live in a van down by the river?
I'm in pain. I'm obese, and I'm addicted to drugs, and I'm 5.
Yeah. Don't leave me.
I'm a little girl, and she just throws herself through the credenza.
You're gonna be so famous.
God damn it, this kid's so talented. He got a natural swing.
Let's get her to Second City.
Well, speaking of second cities, you think we should end this and mosey off to the second city that is Northfield?
Go visit some people.
Yeah.
Just one person. Don't worry, they had their COVID test. Don't judge us. Fuck you.
We're having a super spreader event.
Oh boy.
It's going to be
Everyone, come on down.
glorious.
I'll be coughing on the hot dogs. We'll be passing them out.
Spread the love at Magoobies. Well, you have anything you want to plug?
No.
Okay, well,
No.
I guess we'll just do this again next week, and the week after that, and the week after that, and then hopefully Russia drops a bomb on us.
Tell your friends.
So until next time, thank you, go fuck yourselves, and goodbye.